Okay. So we'll cover. Okay, so today we'll focus on functions. और functions के concepts जो भी उस पे हम focus करेंगे और उस पे हम I will ask questions from you guys on this thing and let's see how it goes. So functions में first question जो मेरा है, like the very first question is why functions in JavaScript are known as first class objects. I'll repeat the question. Why function in JavaScript are known as first class objects in as a first class objects? ऐसा क्यों बोलते हैं हम लोग? Why do we say this thing? Okay, इसको और I will put in a simple way. Is it right to say that a function is an object? मैं ऐसा बोल सकता हूँ क्या? Function is an object. मतलब function भी object है. Can I say this thing?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So we can say function is an object. Okay, function is also a, in a way, it's an object. On what basis we can say this thing? Function is an object. If we say function is an object, there has to be something here.
All function has been stored in object form.
All functions are stored.
Whole function means whatever the return will be stored in object form.
Object form.
First of all.
Okay, object form means what? What do you mean by object form?
Means whatever we write
Mm-hmm.
will be as it is stored.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like we store the variable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Suppose I define a function as function ABC, and I say it doesn't do anything. It just say return 0. Is it also an object, Navneet? What do you say?
This function will return 0.
This function returns 0, obviously. But my question is not that. My question is that is this function, can we say it is also like an object in a way, some way? Like as Karan is saying ना कि ये भी एक object ही है ना, function भी as a object form में store होता है. ठीक, he is right. Okay, but I'm trying to understand from you if you know this concept. Okay, no issues. Okay, you can try. Okay. Okay, I will ask you one more question. Let's suppose if I say A, B, C is what? Is a function, correct? If I say ABC equal to 300, okay, and then I call the ABC function, okay, now just tell me the output. What will be the output? Take your time, no hurry, okay. ये मुझे बताओ कि मैंने ऐसे किया ABC function is defined. I'm assigning ABC equal to 300 and I'm then calling the ABC function. So what should be the output?
It would be 300.
300 will be output. Why?
Because in the function as it is mentioned that ABC will return 0. Like so. Next we have assigned ABC with the value 300. So.
Okay. Karan, what do you say? Do you agree?
Maybe 0. The answer.
So when I call this function ABC, okay, I make a function call. What I'm going to get? Is it going to print something, or what will happen? at line number 12?
It will not print. It will just return. We have to store it in
Okay.
something.
Okay, you're saying that it will not print. We have to store in the result, है ना? Suppose I say where result equal to this thing, okay? And then I can say console.log. It will print the value. यही बोल रहे हो ना? Function call करेगा, function का जो भी result आएगा, because it is not printing anything, it is just returning 0. So we'll call this function, get the return value from this function, and we can print this thing. Now tell me what will be output at line number 14. ठीक है, मैं समझ गया. Line 14 का output क्या आएगा? What will be the output?
Zero.
See, it's a simple thing. If I comment this line, then everybody knows the output. What will be the output? Correct. Return 0 and 0 will be output. है ना? But now I'm trying to make it a tricky one. I'm trying to assign function of value, which is a number. इस case में क्या होगा? What will happen in this case? The function will behave as it is, as earlier, और कुछ changes आएगा. Will it change or कैसे होगा? What will happen? Let me run this thing.
It function and immutable.
Function. Okay,
These function are immutable.
Immature.
Immutable.
Immutable.
Okay.
Function are immutable. Okay. Okay. So what? Function are immutable. So what? What will happen in immutable?
I think it will not change the value.
Okay, you're saying that because functions are immutable. Okay, immutable means we can't change the value. We can't do the mutation. No, we can't do the changes with the function. It will not. This will not have any impact, and it will return as it is. Correct. Let me run this thing. Node.js. Okay, I'm trying to print. It throws the error. ABC is not a function. Okay, can you see this thing? ABC is not a function. You can try it your end also, you'll see the same error. ABC is not a function. कोई function define करो, assign that. ऐसा क्यों हो रहा? Why this is happening?
Because the data type changed.
Okay.
At the line number 10. It is changed from function to number.
Okay. Okay. So let's suppose I still want to get the output return 0. What should I do? मुझे output 0 ही चाहिए ना कि function मैं call कर पाऊँ. Okay. But I still want to do this thing also. In that case, what I will do? But there is no other way. It will always throw error. So you're right, because the value of this variable changes. So ABC, now I'm asking a different question. Okay, I'm asking this to Navneet. Navneet, tell me, मुझे ये बताओ कि ABC एक function है या एक variable है? Okay, I'm again repeating the question. ABC, जिसको मैंने 300 assign किया, assign this value here. Is it a function or is it a variable? Simple question.
It's not a function and the variable. So
It's variable, and what is this ABC then? It's a variable or this is a function?
but there in line number 6, that is a function ABC.
Okay, and this is a variable.
That is a variable.
So you think this is a two different thing. One is a function ABC and one is a variable ABC. Okay, do you agree, Karan?
No, both are same variable.
Correct, both are the same. So ABC is so I will explain you what is happening. Navneet, I will explain you what is happening. Okay, do you know the concept of function hoisting? Anybody?
Sorry,
Function hoisting. This is a concept, ना? इसको बोलते हैं function hoisting.
Hoisting.
पढ़ा है? function hoisting. Have you heard of this thing? Function hoisting? Okay, Karan, tell me, what is that? Function hoisting.
When we write any JavaScript,
Hmm.
first of all the
Hmm.
variables are assigned with
ठीक है, I understand
some
your
defined
definition.
value.
हाँ, I understand your thing. Give me an example. Example बता दो. अभी इसी में बता दो कि यहाँ पर what is happening here. How
For
function
an
hoisting is happening here. हाँ, बताओ.
for an example, before
Hmm.
running into the code,
Hmm.
uh, at the line number 5,
Hmm.
this whole code has been uh,
Hmm.
get stored in memory with
Hmm.
variable names. For an
Hmm.
example, from
Hmm.
line number 6, this
Hmm.
function will be stored in ABC variable and
Hmm.
hold the function from the scope
Hmm.
as it is stored without getting this code. And
Okay.
ABC also has been assigned with undefined value.
Okay. Okay. So I'll make it simple for you, Navneet. I guess you don't know this concept. तो function hoisting क्या होता है? We can define function in two different way. ठीक है? अभी लिखा मैंने function ABC और define कर दिया. Or I could have written where ABC small. I can write function, and I will not give name here. I can just write like that, return 0. Okay, now let me run this thing. I will put a div point here. Let's see what happens. Okay. Now he can see here. Can you see here? There is two variables, ABC small and ABC capital. Can you see this thing? Two here.
Yes, sir.
So small ABC is clear. It's a variable. Why? Because you are using where keyword, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you will be assigning a value equal to some function. So ABC is storing a function in simple words, है ना? तो ABC एक variable है जो कि function store कर रहा है, ठीक है? Whatever function is that. इसमें कुछ नाम नहीं दिया है. Name is not coming, है ना? Suppose यहाँ name ABC, this name is coming here, है ना? But here I am not given a name. If I can give a name, no problem. You can give any name, no problem. You can give any name. If I rerun this thing, let's see. Name was not coming, but if I rerun this thing, the name will come. You see name is coming, है ना? So ABC is pointing to some function. Let's suppose उसका नाम whatever is there, XYZ है, जो भी है, ठीक है? And ABC variable you did not create manually. मैंने create नहीं किया. Neither you have created. तो ये ABC आया कहाँ से variable? From where this is coming, this variable ABC? That is happening in function hoisting. Function hoisting में क्या होता है? Whenever you declare a function using function keyword directly in a global scope, okay, क्या होता है? It creates it's before your execution will start, it will create all the function in memory which is which Karamsing is right, and variable name will be, and the variable name will be variable will be also created with the same name of the function. अगर function का नाम ABC है तो variable का नाम भी ABC होगा. If I change this to, let's suppose XYZ, this will also change to XYZ. Whatever name is there with the same name, the variable will be created. So हमें क्या लग रहा है कि अच्छा इस लाइन पे मैं ABC फंक्शन को एक्सेस कर रहा हूँ. नो, ABC here is a variable which is pointing to this function. See na, ABC is a variable which is pointing to this function. It's an object. Sorry, ABC is not an object. My mistake. ABC is a variable which is pointing to this object, which is which object? Function object. Because function भी object होता है. Object क्यों होता है वो बताऊंगा, है ना? Just listen, है ना? So function ABC, okay? Function ABC को point कर रहा है ना ABC. So ABC is a variable, and when you are assigning a variable some different value, no problem. जावास्क्रिप्ट में ऐसा कुछ फिक्स नहीं है कि अच्छा पहले मैंने इसको फंक्शन असाइन किया था तो मुझे फंक्शन ही असाइन करना पड़े. इट्स नथिंग लाइक दैट. वी कैन असाइन एनीथिंग टू एनी वेरिएबल, एनी वैल्यू, डिफरेंट डेटा टाइप्स. लाइक करण बोला ना कि अच्छा पहले फंक्शन असाइन था, अभी नंबर असाइन हो गया. We can assign boolean also, we can assign array also, anything. There's no restriction. So basically what we are doing, ABC, we are trying to, now let's see here what happens. When we will try to assign ABC 300, let's see what happens. What will happen? What do you think? What will happen? Just focus here. I'm going to run this line. Can you see what is happening?
Yes, sir.
It's clear now?
Yes, sir.
So ABC variable is still there, okay? And that variable value has changed. पहले क्या value था? What was the value earlier? It was a function. Now we equal, when we say assignment operator, we assign a different value. So it's simple. ABC is now a number. Can we call a number? Sorry, can we make a function call? Because a round bracket is make a function call, correct? But ABC is not a function. So it will give error. So ABC is not a function. If you go and view debug console, you see the output. ABC is not a function because ABC is a number. Na? How can you call a number? Like how can you make a function call on a number? Correct. So are you getting this thing or still?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a very important concept, function hoisting. Okay, we think it's a function. It's not a function. It's a variable ABC, and it points to that thing. Okay, remember this basic concept. Okay, first of all. Now second point पे आते हैं basic जो अपना था कि why we say function is a object. Correct. When we say function is a object, the basics. Okay, what is the basics? Karan, can we again repeat? Can you again repeat? We can go back to say the original question. Why function are known as object? So what is object? Suppose you have to define an object. How can you define object, any object in JavaScript?
It has both properties and methods.
So
In curly
object has both.
braces
It is curly braces. Okay. Simple
and
words
key
में बोले.
value pair.
हाँ, key value pair correct. Simple words में बोले. So anything which is a value. Value मतलब it's storing something, some value. Okay. Which is non-primitive, correct? मतलब primitive नहीं है. So it has to be what? Object only. Primitive क्या है? Primitive what we have? We have number. We have then what? Number हम define करते हैं.
String,
Then we
boolean,
define string. Then we define boolean.
big
So
int.
if you see what is the common things in all three. Notice the common thing. Let's suppose मैं तुम्हें example देता हूँ, है ना? Array is also object. Okay, array is also object. Function is also object. Okay. Then other object is also object. But what is common in number string boolean? So we can say it's a primitive type. And what is common in this thing? We can say it's the object type. From what basis we can say it's object type, and this is we can say as a non-object type or primitive type, simple types. है ना? ये object क्यों नहीं है? Why we are saying it's not an object? What basis?
Because in hoisting it doesn't create object.
नहीं, अभी इसमें होस्टिंग कैसे आ गया? नंबर स्ट्रिंग एंड बूलियन इज अ सिंपल थिंग. ठीक है, इसमें व्हाई वी से इट्स अ प्रिमिटिव टाइप. प्रिमिटिव मतलब सिंपल टाइप. इट्स नॉट अ कॉम्प्लेक्स टाइप. एक सिंपल सा फंडा है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत सिंपल है ना, उसमें कुछ दिमाग नहीं लगाना है. देखो, सपोज आई से डिक्लेयर अ नंबर, वेरिएबल नंबर 1 equal to 1000. Now tell me a variable which is holding a number, how many numbers it can store?
One value.
Only one. Okay. Suppose I'm defining a string s1 equal to my name is Rahul. How many my names it can store a string?
Single.
Only single value. Similarly, whether something is true or false, okay, true or whatever, suppose the value we are defining, I'm saying true. How many Boolean values it can store a Boolean variable
Single.
at one time? Only one.
One value.
So इन तीनों में क्या कॉमन है कि जब प्रिमिटिव टाइप्स का बात आता है तो at one time it can only store one value, correct?
Yes.
उसका इसका काम ही है सिर्फ एक वैल्यू स्टोर करना. दैट्स इट, फिनिश्ड, एंड ऑफ द स्टोरी. इसका काम क्या है? 1000 स्टोर करता है. इसका काम है क्या है? इसको स्टोर करता है. इसका काम क्या है? इसको इस ट्रू एंड फॉल्स को स्टोर करता है अपने जहां भी मेमोरी लोकेशन पे स्टोर. बस दैट्स इट. सिंपल टाइप. इसमें प्रिमिटिव टाइप्स है, सिंपल है. ओके, नाउ आई विल शो यू एग्जांपल. अभी देखो यहाँ पर मैंने लिखा var abc, है ना. सपोज आई बिफोर दिस आई डिक्लेयर अ नंबर, ऑलरेडी आई डिक्लेयर अ नंबर ना. ठीक है, मैं यहाँ पर तुम्हें करके दिखाता हूँ. So run start debugging. Okay. Okay, sorry. हाँ, debug point यहाँ पर है. Just look at the left hand side. ठीक है. If you see NO1, what is the value you can see? 1000. S1 you can see Rahul. Okay, अभी ये execute नहीं हुआ है, वो भी आ जाएगा, है ना? Just ignore that thing. But if you see in the ABC, okay, ABC is pointing to function. अभी expand करता हूँ मैं function. ना ये function तुम्हें दिख रहा है? It has multiple properties.
Yes, sir.
Argument is some property, prototype is some property, and if we try to expand prototype, इसमें और constructor आ रहा है, तो simple type नहीं हुआ ना. Primitive मतलब simple type है, ठीक है? मतलब सिर्फ वो store के होता है, just it stores the value, that's it, ना? And only one value at one time, correct? But ये simple types, इसमें कोई properties नहीं है, कोई methods नहीं है. But if you can see, when I'm trying to open the function object, it has multiple properties, length है, name है, see ना? Name is also there. F dot name. If you type xyz dot name, you will get some output. Okay, then prototype property. A lot of things are there. Okay, suppose I go here and say अच्छा abc dot name. अभी इसको print कर देखते हैं. What does it print? तो देखो यहाँ पर if I go in view debug console because I am debugging, you can see what is printed here xyz. Why? Because I'm trying to print abc dot name. So name is a property on the function object. Right? ये function abc है. It's an object. It has property name. I'm trying to print. इसने name print किया. If I try to print the length, it will print 0. Okay. If you're trying to access prototype, it will print something. If you try to whatever I can do, properties है ना सब. Just like object में क्या होता है, properties होता है. So function is also it's clearly an object ना, because by definition what object क्या होता है, it has properties. है ना, it's key value pair के key and value, correct? Property is the key and value is the value for that key, correct? Same format में है ये, it's not nothing different, correct? That's why we say it's an object, because it's an object ultimately, and it's ultimately, last time भी मैंने बताया था, it's ultimately inheriting from object type. If you open this prototype, if you open this constructor and if you go inside this thing, you can see prototype is what? Constructor f. मतलब इसका type क्या है? F मतलब function. ठीक है, ये फंक्शन f से बना है. बट इफ यू गो इनसाइड दिस थिंग एंड मोर इनसाइड दिस थिंग, यू विल सी, यू विल गेट यहाँ पर नहीं आ रहा, यहाँ पर आएगा, सॉरी. इफ यू गो हियर, यू विल सी इट विल गिव यू दिस थिंग ऑब्जेक्ट. लास्ट टाइम बताया था मैंने, ठीक है? इनहेरिटेंस करोगे तो एवरीथिंग इनहेरिट फ्रॉम ऑब्जेक्ट ओनली. इफ आई गो इन द प्रोटोटाइप, यू कैन सी ये फंक्शन है, ठीक है? इफ आई गो इन द कंस्ट्रक्टर, ये फंक्शन है. If I go inside this thing, you see its prototype is object. So ultimately everything is inheriting from what? Object. ये वो inheritance tree है, अभी cover नहीं किया. But last time I have given this thing to you. Again I'm repeating. ठीक है? तो वो देखोगे inheritance tree. So everything is made from object type. Ultimately सब कहाँ से inherit करेगा? Object से. That is a simple way to understand कि अगर मैं suppose I go here, I right click here, I go to inspect tool and I go to console. यहाँ पर मैंने define किया, अच्छा function x finished, इतना ही काम किया मैंने, that's nothing more, है ना? अब मैं बोलूँगा x dot underscore photo. Okay, it's f. If I go dot underscore photo. Sorry. Underscore. Can you see what is the value? It's a constructor, and you can see it's pointing to what? Object. Here it is pointing to f. तो ये एक inheritance tree है कि x किससे बना है? Function से, है ना? This is the instance of a function type. और function किससे inherit होता है? इसका constructor क्या है? Object. ठीक है? तो ये always remember this thing. This is you don't have to program and anything. Just you have to remember this thing कि अच्छा ये इसका backbone क्या है? This is the backbone. Okay? So backbone of everything, every object is object type. देखो है ना यहाँ पर, और वो भी function है. मजे की बात क्या है कि this is also a function because to define a type in JavaScript we need a function. So little bit it's confusing because अब अच्छा मतलब base क्या है फिर है ना, what is the base, but everything is defined as a function in JavaScript. देखो ये function object defined है. Okay, I'm not going too much into this thing. वो maybe cover next time. But the point is simple. What I'm trying to put it here that uh, this is why it is known as an object. And why it is known as first class object? Anybody? फर्स्ट क्लास क्यों बोलते हैं? ऑब्जेक्ट तो समझ में आ गया, बट फर्स्ट क्लास क्यों? व्हाई फर्स्ट क्लास बोल रहे हैं? ओके, आई टेल यू. सपोज मैं लिखता हूँ abc डॉट, यू कैन सी अप्लाई मेथड, ऑल दिस मेथड इज कमिंग ऑन द फंक्शन. फंक्शन में से मेथड्स होता है अप्लाई, बाइंड, कॉल, फिर लेंथ, आर्गुमेंट में मेनी थिंग्स आर देयर. ओके, नाउ I'll type x1 equal to any value, ऐसे में string value. Can I do this thing with function? फंक्शन को मैंने क्या किया, फंक्शन पे एक मैंने प्रॉपर्टी बना दिया. Is it possible? Do you think? I will remove this thing also to make it more simple. If I say xyz dot x1, is it possible to do something like this? Assign any property. So again, I'll go in xyz dot some property. I'll say name to already है. Suppose I'll say address equal to Pune. Can I do something like this with functions? Okay, let me try. No issues. If you don't know, I will try. I put a review point here. I will reload this thing. So you can see xyz here. If you see xyz, it's a function object. It means the properties है, name and length, but it's not having. But if the moment I do dot x1, just see what happens here. Let's focus here. It's create a new property x1. Can you see this thing? It's create one more property address Pune. That is why it is known as first class object because it is behaving like a typical object. Object ऐसे काम करता है ना, dot लिखते हो and you
Yes.
assign a property, it creates a new property. Simple ना?
Hmm.
That is why it is known as first because it is behaving like a typical object. It's not having less capability than a normal object, correct? It is having the equal capability. तो जब equally ये तो first class citizen हो गया ना. Okay, when we say metaphor ना कि अच्छा वो फटाफट is a second class citizen, whatever. This is giving an example. Okay, it can be applied anywhere in the world. Somebody say okay, second class marks आया, second class citizen. Also second class is not equal. Okay, first class means equal. So it is equal to the object. As good as an object. Function is as good an object as an object. Okay, when you define an object, how do you define an object? You define like this, correct? Where obj and then you can say curly braces. तो जो भी कैपेबिलिटी इसका है सेम कैपेबिलिटी फंक्शन का भी है. नथिंग डिफरेंट. क्या डिफरेंट है? दिस इज आल्सो ऑब्जेक्ट, दिस इज आल्सो ऑब्जेक्ट, दिस इज आल्सो इनहेरिटिंग फ्रॉम ऑब्जेक्ट क्लास, ऑब्जेक्ट टाइप, दिस इज आल्सो इनहेरिटिंग फ्रॉम ऑब्जेक्ट टाइप अल्टीमेटली. Okay, we can create properties here, we can create properties here. So it is almost everything all exactly the same, कुछ भी different नहीं है. Additional obviously because it is a function type, it has additional uh, behavior and all those things, but वो additional है. But basically it is having all the capabilities and all the things, properties of an object. That is why it is known as first class object because it is like suppose I use a variable to store an object. I can use a variable to store a function. Correct now. Suppose I want to store a function where f1. So that is why we can say this is अभी ये object को store करने के लिए we can use a variable. Similarly, for storing a function, we can use a variable. So that's why it is treated as a value. Okay, that is why it is known as first class object. This is very important point to consider. Okay, somebody asks you why it is not first because it behaves like a typical object. Object has properties. It also has properties. We can use variable to store object. We can use variable to store functions. We can create new properties on object. We can create new properties in function. We can use this inside the object. We can use this inside the function. It's the typical the same. Okay, it's nothing different. You know, this thing is it's a value ultimately. Okay, so this is very important point. Okay. Okay, apart from this thing, already covered a lot of points and I will not make it too too lengthy because already we have covered complex point. Okay. तो आज के लिए stop करते हैं because stop the recording because today is Navratri also. ठीक है. So I hope you're getting the important points. This is very important for the interviews. जब भी you will go for the ReactJs interview, you will uh, people will ask you this kind of question. They will confuse you. And obviously, interview तो इसीलिए लेते हैं. They want to test your concept. How clear is your concept? So they will do this thing. So that's why I'm making this series, and I'm also uploading this thing on YouTube. So it has like everybody will know about what we do, how do we teach, and so that is one thing. And we will also benefit from the questions. It is one of the objective. So okay, fine. I guess we are good for today. I will stop the recording for now, and maybe next time